We were kind of watching the game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you put some shekels on the game yesterday with the Bucks.
I forgot that Doc Rivers was coaching. That's my fault.
And you know who his assistant is, right?
Leave Darvin Ham alone. He won the first ever in-season tournament. Rob G is a Laker fan. He shed tears when they put that banner up for the in-season tournament.
Hey, you're right. So you got Darvin Ham, who, listen, I love a Michigan man. He from Saginaw.
He won a championship with the 2004 Pistons. That's why Rob G hates Darvin Ham.
You know what I've learned, Rob, and I think you've learned this too, is a part of life, but especially in sports. And optics are everything, right? Perception is everything. Sometimes, in the grand scheme, it might not be true, but if that's how people perceive it, dang it, Darvin Ham, pull your hands out your pockets. At some point, you would think, I don't care if it was just his best friend, his wife, somebody like, hey, babe, look, I know. Do me a favor. No, I'd just be really just resting and really trying to come on. No, I get it. Do me a favor. Pull your hands out your pocket. And so now there's some hilarious memes of like how JJ Redick has already called up some plays, and then they'll do a side by side of like an old Darvin Ham play. But you got the Bucks who are struggling now.
When the Lakers lose 3 in a row, we'll see how good JJ Redick is and how he's going to the NBA Coaches Hall of Fame.
He's already in there. They already put him all in there.
My goodness gracious!
It's like
so
Phil
ridiculous.
Jackson,
I know.
JJ Redick, Pat Riley. Okay.
I'm right. I'm right on that.
He's a tactician. I'm like, all right, let's give him some time.
3 games, my God. I know, right.
They got blew out in Cleveland on LeBron and Bronny night. Let's just give it some time. I'm not saying he's horrible. I'm not saying he's great.
No, but I'm just saying they were just trying to crown him too early.
But you know what? Somebody who has been crowned as far as a champion, but right now is struggling, man, and that is the Bucks. And I think for a lot of folks, it kind of starting to get confusing when you say, all right, last year, you got Damian Lillard comes, and all right, well, maybe they're getting to know each other. And then
everybody
Giannis
thought when
injured.
they made that trade that, oh, my God, Giannis got what he wanted, and him and Dame go together perfectly. I mean, you remember people were ranting and raving about that deal going down.
Yeah, now you got, because they're 1-4 on the season and they've had some horrible losses, and I think there might be some rumblings that Doc Rivers doesn't really have the team to buy in there. And as of now, he's sitting at 20-26 with an MVP candidate yearly in Giannis, and obviously with a perennial All-Star and Dame and a bunch of other really good players. Bobby Portis, the 6th Man of the Year candidate, Defensive Player of the Year type player, and Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton, all these guys. And you're like, why are they struggling? Last year, Adrian Griffin has to be sent somewhere like, oh, I was the problem? I was the problem.
All Adrian Griffin has to do is look at that bank book, and he's good because he got paid.
And he's getting paid being home too.
Yep.
That's the crazy part. It amazes me how many teams will fire somebody just to like, we feel pressure, we got to fire, and then have to pay them for like 3 extra years, 2, whatever the deal is, for them to just be at home or go spend some more time with the kids, whatever it is, but. Now you got some anonymous execs who are thinking there's anonymous Eastern Conference execs that said you're hearing talks of maybe a Western Conference exec, I should say, also and the Eastern Conference. The West Conference exec is saying, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting traded by the trade deadline. The Eastern Conference is saying, don't be surprised if teams like Miami or the Knicks or the Nets also in the mix for getting him. Giannis has been putting pressure on the organization crazily, actually. Like, kind of like, whoa, dude, like you just won. They're working at their best to get you some talent. He's all of a sudden been crazy empowered and like putting big time flex in his muscles. So it'll be interesting how this plays out in the next month or so if they continue down this trend.
I'll say this. Those reports mean nothing to me, and I'm going to tell you why. When you say don't be surprised if he's going to be traded, you haven't said anything. You're neutral, basically. So if he doesn't get traded, you say, well, I didn't tell you he's going to get traded. And if he gets traded, you go, see, I told you. Like say he's done. Like that's a report. Like, don't be surprised if anybody uses that, Kelvin. There's no report there because it's the middle of the road. It's not saying if you have an executive say it's so bad in Milwaukee, he will be traded by the All-Star break. Then I'm listening, okay? But to say don't be surprised doesn't mean anything to me. But I understand it ain't working out. I got that.
Think but the add to that is the rumblings, right? Giannis has been very vocal the last 2 or 3 seasons. Now, what's crazy on his part is he just signed that 3-year extension right after they got Damian Lillard. So, but they asked Damian Lillard on Monday. They were asking him in Boston before their loss there, hey, what's going on? What do you guys need to do to kind of get this thing right? And Damian said, quote, me and him got to be able to hold each other accountable. And I don't mean yelling at each other all the time. Just mean like I got to be able to say something to you and you got to be able to say something to me at all times. And he's always had to pull his foot down in Milwaukee and kind of lead the charge, so on and so forth. Basically saying, he's had to do that, but now it should be able to be me leading and him leading as well. And that to me, this doesn't sound good from 2 guys who are veterans, who've been around. And I think Giannis is starting to try to chase legacy now. Like, filling the clock, like I've got to win 2, 3, 4 more championships, and
he said his legacy set that he won a championship in Milwaukee. I'm just telling you, like nobody expected that. You remember when he signed that deal and didn't go to join Miami? Everybody was like, "You're dumb! Oh my God, you'll never win! You should have gone to Miami." Nobody wins in Milwaukee, and then they wind up winning. I'm just saying, he's a made man. He's a made man.
I think historically, as far as he's got a ring, he's MVP, and then clearly he's a made man for life in Milwaukee. I'm saying I'm chasing now the Kevin Durant's, the Stephs, obviously maybe not LeBron, but I'm chasing those guys when it comes to greatness. And like he's already come out and said Jaylen Brown is the best player in the NBA because he was the best player on the best team that won. So you can tell that's his mindset. I want to be on the winning team so I can be the best. So that's where I am. And I think my concern, I'm wondering, Rob, will the NBA, because of the pressure we put on, like the only thing that matters is championships, and guys start wanting to try to accumulate. I got to get 2 because it's someone's. I got to get 3 or 4 or 5 because I got to. Will we create a MLB or a Major League Soccer or world, Premier League Soccer where guys are just going team to team, hitman for hire, like Kevin Durant, where, you're great, you're talented, but all of a sudden you don't have a home because you're just going from team to team to team trying to win because I got to win a championship. They're going to, the only thing that will validate my career.
I don't know how, like, for him that fits in. I really don't, because he did the impossible. He won in Milwaukee. He's won an MVP. He's averaging 30 points. I just, really, like Giannis, I don't look at him as like he has to win 4 championships to be validated. I think
not you, though, and I get you. But I think the pressure is on these players. Like, I have to win like Steph, like LeBron, like Kobe. Otherwise, I did not have this amazing career. I think we're starting to feel that from the pressure on the players where they're like, if I don't have these multiple, then what was my career? When that's not necessarily the case, right? We are all intelligent enough to be able to contextualize, like, okay, well, that player was in this market, he didn't have the players, or he was kind of by himself. But we've now put, because of, to me, so many debate shows and social media, like, well, how many rings does he have? Simple answer. Well, how many rings does he have? And like, it's now guys are freaking out. Like, if I don't get to multiple rings, then my career wasn't what it should have been. And that's not necessarily the case.